What's up, chicken? Oh, what happened there? Kind of dropped out for a little bit. Hey fellas, how you doing? So volume knob, I always had the volume on the basses maxed out. Yeah, there's no sweet spot. It's always maxed out. That's how it is. Because I always want to send, a good strong signal. I used to, and I gotta maybe get back into it. I used to use a volume pedal all the time, and I would use the volume pedal at the end of my pedal chain. And the reason was that so I could kind of have a control just on the overall level going into the amp in order to control any overall dynamics that included the effects. Because what happened was when I would put my volume pedal at the beginning of the pedal chain, that meant that if I wanted to have the volume kind of halfway, it meant that pedals like the octave pedal and the envelope filter weren't being triggered properly because they didn't have a strong enough signal. And especially something like the envelope pedal, which relies on the way that the signal hits it. I always wanted to make sure that those were always going to be strong. So I would have it at the end of my pedal chain, and it worked well. It meant that I could, in terms of the way that the effects were happening, it meant that those could stay the same, and I could just kind of ride the volume. So almost using it like a master volume. And sometimes I would do that. I would have the amp set pretty high, and then use the volume pedal to control just the dynamics of that. So that's how I would do it. So always sending a strong signal into the pedals first, right? Muzzle Kukai, how you doing? Yes, playing Caravan, playing the A sections in 9/4, and then everything else is just 4/4 because it's hard enough trying to keep up with that, but But how you all doing? Hope you cats are doing well. Starting just a little later than usual, and gonna kind of keep it, just real kind of short and sweet tonight, just because been really busy with some really cool, exciting stuff, and that's why on Friday I didn't have missed you cats on Friday. Didn't have my one on Friday because I had some other things going on, and that will be the same thing for this Friday as well. But I will do some pop-up Instagram lives as well. Things are pretty busy, which is really great. Lots of exciting, cool, fun things happening. But it's always great to just jump on here and connect with you cats. So if you got any questions, just throw it down in the chat as usual. And the mode bass has been great. I used it on a gig with my band last week, and it was really I used this and the groove line bass, the 6-string, and it was great. It really was a lot of fun to play, and it sounded great. Nice solid sound. And really, I mean, it held up pretty nicely. At the end of the day, I mean, the groove line is definitely something that is very close to my heart, and it is just got an incredible singing, just solid sound. But the groove line, and it's probably because the groove line 6-string has been played in a lot. It's been I've used it kind of everywhere. It's so it's definitely got some mileage, and this one is definitely a brand new instrument. So it's still kind of opening up, and that's the cool thing about a brand new instrument, is that it's, as you play it more, and played on gigs and played at home, it starts to just kind of just start to loosen up. There's always that break-in period. So it's really cool. This bass was I used it more on the real like kind of more funk, thumpy kind of tunes. So we played that George Duke tune, Images of Us, which is really cool. So yeah, this was really nice. And I played it on Pools as well. We played Pools by Steps Ahead, and that was really nice. So yeah, I'd been really having a lot of fun with this instrument. Mazuku Kai is asking, that new bass sounds nicely gritty. Yeah, it's definitely got it can get really clean, and then you can get a really nice edgy tone on it, especially when you use the mid range, the mid range, different frequencies and all that. You can dial that in. If you wanted to see more in depth of how that works, there is the live stream video that I did with this bass, just kind of doing a whole kind of run through of it, and especially I go through the whole mid section on this instrument just to really give you an idea on what the different settings sound like, and a lot of people found that really helpful, which hey, glad I can help out. I mean, that's pretty much how I would have wanted to have, if I was looking at a demo video of an instrument, how I would have liked to have, seen it as well. So you might find that helpful. So Mazuku Kai is saying, I've been practicing barbershop vocals to get my voice ready for the busy season. Okay, great discipline to practice even though I don't play it out. Hey, that's really great. When I was in high school, I used to be in a barbershop quartet. And we actually were national champions. This is in New Zealand growing up. We had a really great quartet. We were called Sound Waves. And it was a lot of fun. I was baritone. That was my voice, and that was a difficult part because it had really just weird. Just like if you're just like singing alto or something, has your part when you hear it by itself like really doesn't make a lot of sense. But then when you put it together with all the rest of the voices, it is that missing piece. It really is. And so that was definitely a challenge at first. And the way we were learning tunes is that we were we had some sheet music, but we were also transcribing tunes from recordings. And so it was hard at first to listen to find the voice that I'm trying to, the part that I'm trying to pick out. But after a while, I started hearing it. And it's the same thing when you're transcribing anything. If you're transcribing like horns, or strings or whatever, and you're trying to hear those middle parts, it can be difficult at first, but if you really just concentrate, even bass, for some people who are not bass players, they sometimes have a hard time transcribing bass. They can feel it, they can hear, but in terms of like the actual, like the pitches of the notes, some people find that difficult. They really do, just because of the low end content of it. But that's really good. Yeah, no, that's cool. Barbershop vocals. I haven't done that in a very long time, probably at least 20 years. But it was a lot of fun. It definitely helped with just my musicianship as well, just overall as a musician. Singing in choirs and doing the barbershop and all that. It was really helpful. And you're asking, do I ever practice in styles that I don't ever perform in? Sometimes, I'll play along to some, rock tunes. I'll play along to even some. There might be some more like kind of electronic kind of music, and maybe some metal tunes. I'm not gonna demonstrate that here because I'm not gonna. Maybe next time I can have something a little more prepared. But yeah, sometimes I definitely do that in order to just kind of keep things. It's a good way of keeping things fresh in terms of what influences you, because at the end of the day, it's all music, right? So that's the thing. So I definitely will do that. And then and then when the stars align, and then you're like, oh Ben, can you like play on this metal gig with me? Then I'll be like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? So we'll see. But anyway, yeah. Chicken Dip is asking, what's more popular, New Zealand automatic or manual transmissions? Well, I grew up learning to drive in a manual transmission. So I've stick shift. I know how to do that. It's definitely in the muscle memory. So I grew up doing that. At the end of the day, as I've gotten older, yeah, I just prefer driving an automatic because it does all the stuff for you. Less things to worry about, right? And the last car that I had, which not the last car, sorry, the first car that I bought when I was living in Los Angeles, it was a '94 Honda Accord wagon, and I put a lot of miles in it. I drove that car up to Canada and back and all that, and it was a stick shift, and I ran that thing. There was no clutch left in that car. I literally it by the time I sold that car, I sold it to a body shop. They came and picked it up, but because there was no clutch left, the clutch was just worn out. It was gone. But that car served me really well. The only thing in that car that it had it, but it didn't work, and I guess I could have had it done, but at the time I didn't have the money to do it. Was the air conditioning didn't work, so in the summers it was brutal. So it was old school, windows down, even when driving on the freeway. So feeling that warm, hot wind going through your hair. So it was a breath of fresh air when I got a new car after that, which was a automatic, and it had air conditioning. So yeah. Anyway, Muzzle Kukai, yeah, I love that stuff. Great ear training. Yeah, it's really good ear training when you get to listen to that kind of stuff. Anything and that your ear, that's also a muscle as well. In terms of like when you're listening to stuff and being able to hear stuff quickly and recall things. The more you do that, it's quick. It can get quicker and quicker. So just by listening and training your ears, identifying stuff, that's how you can do. Fields, how you doing? You're a professional double bass player, jazz and classical. Very nice, very nice. Many years since Don't Play or Hear electric bass repertoire. A few months ago, restarted Electric Journey, groovy backing tracks, where to find. Look, in terms of groovy backing tracks, I mean, you can find them. I'm sure you've looked all over YouTube, because you want to play along with stuff. For me, and I recommend this to all my students, and to anyone, is to like get actual records, right? The albums that have great time, great pocket and groove. So Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Gap Band, Shaka Khan and Rufus, Pleasure, like even a band like Toto, Michael McDonald, the list goes on. So many great things. D'Angelo. and the reason I say to do records, obviously, because though a lot of those records have set standards for how, especially with the bass guitar, how we apply this when playing on gigs, when playing on music and creating music nowadays, right? Um, and that's something that we want to definitely go off of. And look, backing tracks are great for practicing, and you want to apply certain things. And I definitely recommend doing that. For you, in your case, Fields, I would say, um, and because this is also great for picking up repertoire as well, is learning these tunes from these classic recordings, Motown recordings, um, like Marvin Gaye and the Supremes, that whole era, Donny Hathaway, where there was just great bass lines, great timekeeping happening. Also, the discipline of just sitting in the pocket and not meandering so much, just keeping it straight and feeling good. And then the cool thing is now, this day and age, and especially if you use like some sort of stem splitter program on like Logic, or you might use something like Moises, and where you can isolate or mute the bass, and you can play along, and that way you have a backing track right there where it forces you to sit in the recording, playing with the musicians who recorded that, and you have to keep up. It forces you to make the track feel the same way that the original bassist did. It's almost like practicing being in a recording session. It's really great to do that, and how to blend your bass, getting your bass tone to blend in with the recording as well. So those are what I would recommend in terms of like certain backing tracks. I don't have any certain recommendations other than to just kind of I know there's a lot of people who make some great backing tracks. I mean, and they have examples of them just on YouTube. You can search for those. But for me, the source has always been coming from these great records, right? These really great recordings, because it also has the type of vocabulary in what the bass player is playing, and playing off of the drummer in a certain way. If you really want to help develop your chops, I'd recommend getting into like Tower of Power. Not just because you have to do that. I mean, playing a whole set of Tower of Power tunes, I mean, it's relentless. It demands so much of you, and you have to be able to do that tune after tune. And for me, that's something that has helped my chops in terms of like, being able to, and stamina in terms of being able to last on a gig. Whatever I'm playing, even whether it's stuff that is got 16th notes, or even just like any other kind of bass line, right? So for me, the best backing tracks are just the great records, the great albums in history. That would be like my go-to of things like that. So I hope that's helpful, and congratulations on getting back into your electric bass journey. That's really exciting, and it's cool that that you do both, and sounds like you have some good proficiency on the upright bass. You got your jazz chops, got your classical chops. Now get your electric bass chops, and you be the all-round bass player. That was something that I was doing in Los Angeles. I wasn't doing so much classical work, but I was doing sessions and gigs where I had to do a fair amount of arco playing, whether it's just like long tones or actually having to play a melody as well. And there was a few times I did also fill in with, string orchestras as well. I have to play in the sections. I haven't done that in quite a while, but that was definitely something that I did quite a lot of. But definitely a lot of, jazz, R&B, fusion gigs, that kind of thing. Just whatever, reading music. Just a lot of those gigs that is what I did. But really cool. I hope that's helpful. And just real quick, first of all, if you've just been joining on, welcome. I'm glad you could be here. Just jumping on for a little bit here. It's been really busy on my end, so but I appreciate you hanging out. If you got any questions, just pop it down in the chat about bass playing or anything like that, and I'll do my best to try and help out, And of course, down in the description box, if you have a look, there's all my links to my bass resources. So courses, if you want to take a one-off lesson with me, even if it's just to, you just want to play for me and get some feedback, you can also do that too. As well as there's information on how, if you want to get more guidance on that, you want to get a mentor, someone that can keep track of your progress, help you reach your bass goals, just give you regular guidance, and also give you the occasional pep talk when you need it. You can join my one-on-one bass coaching and mentoring program. All the links are down below there. And so make sure you go check it out. Up the bridge there. Who knows that tune? This is standard Benny Golson. So Mazu Kukai is saying Birdhouse in Your Soul by They Might Be Giants has about 19 key changes. That's fun to practice too. Good to see you. Yeah, great to see you, Mazukukai. That's so cool. I gotta check out this tune with the 19 key changes. That's almost like a Stevie Wonder tune, right? It's fun to practice too. Nice. Yeah, just play along. I'm playing, this is Along Came Betty, but I don't know, I might do that bridge again. Yeah, I messed up that bridge. Let's try it again. Let's put it at the faster tempo. That's it. All right, let's try it again. I saw you at the field. You said Whisper Not, but you know what? Maybe I should play Whisper Not. You know, actually that's a good one. Chicken does it. Any chance you can do a live shed on Minimal Tango by Mystic Diversions? I'd be interested in your approach to that track. Yeah, let me check that out. Let me have a go at like Whisper Not. Cause now like Fields has put that in my head. But then retracted it. Hey, you could put it back in, Fields. So anyway, So what are you saying? Chicken Dip, you're saying Minimal Tango by Mystic Diversions. I'm just going to straight up say that I've never heard of this, which is great. So let's see what we're working with here. Let's see, I've already forgotten the name of it. What was it called? Minimal Tango by Mystic Diversions. Minimal by Mystic Tango. Alright, so let me get the track. And this is a tune that Chicken Dip here has asked me to do a live shit. So let me just give me a minute while I get the track here. That way we can so I can put it in my little program here so that I can, if there's any section that I can loop or slow down or something. I did that with a few months ago. Someone requested me to play a Screaming Headless Torsos tune, which had a crazy unison line, which was actually it came from a Miles Davis tune. I can't remember now, but that was a lot of fun, and I'd never played it before. So, but let's have a look here. So we'll see what we can get going. All right. So the program I use for, especially doing any isolation, I use Moises, and it's the in terms of something where that uses AI technology. This is as much as I do, because I'm not into the generative kind of stuff. I just use this as a tool for learning the bass part, learning the music, and then muting the bass part, which is something that's, if we had that kind of ability to do when I was growing up as a teenager, that would have been cool, as opposed to, on our stereos that had, if you were lucky, you had like a little EQ section on it, and you could just reduce the bass. You'd still hear the bass, but it would reduce the kick drum as well. But with this actually mutes the bass, and you can play along, which I think is really cool, because you can pretend that you're in a recording session. And I do this with students who are wanting to, this is a great way of literally practicing groove, practicing pocket playing, and also practicing being like on a recording session, because you're thrown into that. And it's also a thing where, you got to listen and interact with what is going on that you are hearing. It's a good way of practicing being isolated from other instruments where you can't see them. So that's probably that's the extent that I use a program like this, is to do that. And when I play along to tunes here on my live stream, this is what I'm using. But anyway, so the thing that we do first when listening to a tune that I've never heard before is I'm gonna just have a listen through first and just take note of a few things, Some people were saying said hi said hi. I'm saying hi too, so glad you could be here. Real quick before I go into this tune, Fields is asking, what loop pedal am I using? So I'm just using a Boss RC30. I'm not the most, I'm not someone who does like a lot of looping. The only time that I'll do looping is for practicing, if I'm teaching, where I'll loop like a chord progression or something, or a bass line. And same thing here on the live stream. So I have something to play along to, right? And also it's nice to kind of just create. I use it when coming up with arrangements or composing. So and I just wanted to have a looper that literally had two pedals. One's going to be stop, the other one is going to be play and record. And that's pretty much the extent that I would use that I really use it for, which is and it does the job, and pedals that I use regularly. So I think this is something that might be just important for in your toolkit as a bass player. And obviously it depends on what gigs you play. For me, I've always had, again, it depends what kind of gigs I'm playing, but usually the most important ones, the go-tos for me, that I always have with me is, all right, so a tuner pedal. That's always that's important. Always have a tuner with you. But then I have an octave pedal. I have an envelope pedal, and then I have a compressor. I use a vibrato pedal. Those are my go-tos that I use when I'm doing like more of a minimal pedal setup. That gives me majority of like the type of sound that I'm going for when I need to use it. But on certain gigs, I'll be a little more extravagant, and I'll add in like a delay, a reverb, a phaser, a second envelope pedal, things like that. That's what I'll add in. And I don't and these are pedals that I've just accumulated over the years that I've used for, and I can get different types of sounds. You might want to add in maybe even like a fuzz pedal or a distortion pedal if you feel that you might be using something like that. And then for some people who are doing more pop gigs or something, you might want to look at that new MXR bass synth pedal as well, to get that sound. So, but for me, I can tell you from my experience, mine has always been an octave pedal, envelope pedal, this vibrato pedal that I really like, a compressor, and a tuner. Those are my kind of go-tos that I'll take. So yeah, I hope that's helpful there. Mazugukai, yeah, push the slow down function on the thing. Anyway, let's get into let's have a look at this tune real quick. Let's see what's going on here. So let's have a listen. So just that chord progression alone, from what I've been able to... And then what was that G flat was a dominant. So yeah, there's a major 7. So from what I understand, we have a C minor 7, E flat major 7, A flat major 7, and D flat dominant 7, and then a G flat major 7. So that's tricky. Let's see. I'm still trying to get my ear around, especially that the second to last, the last 2 chords in this. So the first few chords have a very diatonic sound to it, right? So if we have C minor 7, E flat major 7, A flat major 7, those 3 chords right there are very diatonic sounding. And then when it goes right here, then that's something where I could play like B major. So I could go between playing A flat major 7 and like B major, right? So let's have a go with that. That's a good challenge. So That's some changes. Those are fun though. I'm gonna have to remember that, because you're going between like two key centers, right there. Um, So I mean that's the other thing too, is that I mean you could play. Let's try this. I'm playing like B Lydian. That's nice. That's a fun one. So, in terms of, going over like something like that, I would go for what is the most obvious kind of key center that I can hear in it. So for me, at first, it was that playing over C minor, right? Especially because the first three chords were diatonic. You could play A flat major 7. I could make it a Lydian. So going between A flat Lydian and B Lydian. Like that's the cool thing about it, is that, and for the longest time I used to think, oh my, approach each chord, right? Like every singular chord, especially in something like that. But that was something that was just making things harder, and especially when they're just flying by, that was difficult. But when you look at it this way, simplify it down to where, like, okay, what is the key center, or what key centers? And I like to put a lot of things into perspective using Lydian, and for me, that's something that really helped me in that way. So that's how I kind of approach something like that. I go back to Lydian. That's something that always helps me out. So I hope that was helpful and kind of insightful in that way. But thanks for the recommendation of that chicken dip. I'm gonna have to check out more of that, because that sounded pretty cool with some really cool chord changes. Mazuka Kai, you played it in E flat major 7. Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. That still works. The only thing is that, I mean, what you could do, you could make that E flat major 7 like an augmented. But they're the only thing. So that's how I'd look at something like that. Really fun, and this is on my 5-string. I was thinking about pulling out, swapping to the 6-string to do this, but I figured I'm like, no, actually let me just stay where I am. so just to add even, more of a challenge, and it's not that, figuring it out on a 5-string or a 4-string, makes it necessarily harder. It's just I'm just so used to just grabbing the 6-string, especially when going through the chords of it. But it's just nice to kind of just switch things up just a little bit there. So, but yeah, cats, I'm going to have to leave it there. I've got some things to do. Like I've said, it's been a really busy last few weeks, which with some fun, exciting stuff, Bass with Benjamin and all that, and things that have just been going on. So yeah, I'm gonna have to just kind of call it a night there. But I appreciate you all hanging on. Mazukukai, yeah, you know what? I haven't learned Egyptian danza, but I will. That will be a good one. I should definitely check that out. But cats, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. This was just a nice to just jump on here and just hang out and share some concepts, and just share any of my tips. And I hope you found it helpful in any way, and you feel inspired to pick up your instrument and go just try some new things, and further explore your music, and really get more into what it is, and remind yourself why you love playing music and why you love playing the bass. And real quick, before I jump off here, again, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, because obviously you'll get notified of when I do go live or whenever I post stuff. And thank you so much, Mazukukai. You take care as well. And Cursed Swordsman, nice to see you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Glad you could hang out here. And thank you everyone who's been here. Chicken Dip, Fields. I think you're new here, right? Everyone. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head who was on here. And down in the description box, don't forget to check out my links to my courses, and also if you wanna study with me one-on-one, I would love to help you in your bass journey, whatever it is. And you don't have to be a pro or wanting to go or become a pro bassist. It's whatever you want to do with your bass playing. I'm here to help you out and support you and guide you with whatever it is. It's your journey, and I'm here to support you. So reach out to me, whatever I can do to help you. You can check it out down below, all the links, or send me an email with any questions. And this is what Bass with Benjamin is about. This is what I love to do. So anyway, folks, thank you again. Take care wherever you are in the world. Be safe out there. Alright, I'll answer one more question. Just got in right in the last one. Cursed Swordsman is saying, for learning improv over changes, are you a fan of lick transcribing and drilling pedagogy? Yeah, absolutely. I think, that is just as important as, creating your own stuff, because you need to know how it was done, right? And so the way that you can do that, in order to create your own stuff, you need to transcribe phrases. You need to transcribe things. You need to learn from the greats, from the masters, on how they did it, so that you can understand and develop your own vocabulary and your own approach. That's how it works. There's nothing wrong with transcribing licks and phrases and all that, as long as you use it in an honest way and to tell a story with it. like right now I have a few students where we're going over 2-5-1 licks, because especially those who are just learning how to improvise, you know. Right. So it's important. You it's just part of the language, right? But again, you got to mean it. You got to play it with intention when you're going to use it, instead of just stringing things together just because, like, okay, I'm going to do this lick here, going to do that here, or just do it. Like, no, you got to figure out how to use it in a musical and creative storytelling way, right? So you know, like, for being able to come up with your stuff, you know, that's the thing. So yeah, transcribe licks, you know, figure that out, but make it your own. All right, make it your own. Figure out how it applies and how it works over what you are playing, and turn it into something that you can then turn into your own vocabulary. All right, folks, I hope that was helpful. Thank you again. Nice to see you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Description box has all the links to my resources at Bass with Benjamin. I look forward to working with some of you in my programs, or if you take a lesson. So take care wherever you are in the world. Be safe out there, and I'll see you guys again soon. All right, peace.